As a beginner Spanish learner, you are so excited to get started with this beautiful language and get your study on, but then you realize the thousands and thousands of resources that are available to you. And then you start to get overwhelmed because you have no idea which one you should choose first. In this video, I'm sharing with you how you should go about choosing the best resources as a beginner Spanish learner. The first thing that you need to do to choose the best resources as you are learning Spanish is to make sure that they are tailored specifically for you. Now, this is important because not everybody's Spanish learning journey is going to be exactly the same. There are various factors that you can analyze to be able to help you understand how your Spanish resources can be so different from another Spanish learners. These factors can be how much time you have to dedicate to study Spanish, your language goals, and your learning style. Maybe one of your language goals is to connect more with your heritage, or you're trying to impress the family of your spouse, or maybe you want to get a bilingual Spanish job, or you just want to be able to understand native Spanish speakers in a telenovela. So maybe if it's just a hobby, you'll be consuming a lot of Netflix TV shows and movies. So you don't really care about the different accents that you are hearing, or even the different slang words that you're hearing as well. If you wanted a bilingual Spanish job, then maybe you're going to be choosing different resources that are going to help you get that particular job. In my case, I would love to have one in the business career field. And that is one of the reasons why I bought this book here, A Manual of Business Spanish, so I can be able to understand how to communicate in a more business style of communication with Spanish speakers. Now, if your goal is to learn Spanish to connect more with your heritage, then maybe you'll be picking resources that are more country specific, and you're going to be learning all the ins and the outs of the accents, all the slang that they use in that particular country, the history, the culture, the politics, and even the economics of the country. So hopefully now you can really see how your language goals have a big impact on the different resources that you're going to be using to learn Spanish. Are you currently focusing on increasing a particular language skill like reading, writing, listening, or speaking? If you are, you want to make sure that you always have this in mind as well, so you can get laser focused on which Spanish resources that you are going to need. This year, I've been focusing heavily on increasing my Spanish speaking skills and the way that I communicate with Spanish speakers. And to do that, I've been having a ton of ITALKI lessons this year. Check out the ITALKI link in the description box of this video if you are interested in having a little discount on some lessons. If you wanted to increase your listening skills, then maybe you're going to be looking at a lot of lyrics so you can follow along when you're listening to Spanish music, or you could be listening to a lot of Spanish podcasts and then also following along with their transcripts. If you're trying to increase your reading skills, then you also know that there are a whole bunch of resources that are available to you. Like if you just go to your local bookstore, or if you go to your local library. And then to reduce all of these resources, you want to be thinking about, what exactly do I want to read? Do I want to read newspapers? Do I want to read a graded reader, like short stories in Spanish for beginners? Or you want to read a Spanish novel like Corazón tan Blanco? Maybe you want to mix it up and read all of the above. I have of some Spanish reading resources also in the description box of this video. The next thing that you should consider when you are trying to choose the best Spanish resource is how much time that you have to study Spanish. I have struggled a lot with this during my Spanish learning journey because it all has to do with time management. Trying to figure out realistically what type of resources are the best for my particular schedule. So if you only have 30 minutes to be studying Spanish every single day, then maybe a 1 hour long conversation with ITALKI won't be very helpful for you because number one, you're not going to be able to finish it. You want to be able to dedicate this 30 minutes to multiple resources all at one time. So maybe for 10 minutes, you want to watch a telenovela, and then the next 10 minutes, you want to be using the Duolingo application and finish a few lessons. And with that last 10 minutes, you still want to practice your speaking skills, but since you're not using ITALKI, maybe you just want to record yourself speaking Spanish and then analyze that video. So it really is a balancing act because I know there's many times where I just want to be able to sit down for 30 minutes or for an hour and just watch a YouTube video and take a lot of notes. But I know a lot of different days I am not able to do this at all. So that's when I have to shift to a different type of resource so I can still get my study on. The amount of energy that you have to study Spanish every single day definitely dictates what type of Spanish learning resources that you're going to be choosing. So this is also going to be another balancing act, just like it was with the amount of time that you have to study Spanish. You have to think about how much energy it's taking to study Spanish. In my case, reading books in Spanish takes the most energy out of me when I am learning Spanish. I know that I have to be very strategic when it comes to when I'm reading my books throughout the day, because if I'm going to be reading my book in Spanish at nighttime, then I know that I'm probably not going to remember anything that I just read because I know of how tired I am at nighttime. The good thing is I am very aware of this, so all I have to do is substitute this particular Spanish resource for another resource like a Spanish podcast or a telenovela or a movie in Spanish, because I know that those resources don't take that much energy out of me and that I'll be able to focus. But then with the book, I'll be able to actually read that and be more focused if I just start to read it during the morning time because I'm full of energy. Do you know what your language learning style is? Having a good idea of what your learning style is like is really going to help you with not wasting time on Spanish resources that you don't really need to use. For example, I know that listening to audiobooks for me does not work very well because I don't remember any details at all and I'm always spacing out, and that's one of the main reasons why I prefer to read a physical book in Spanish. So let's say that I wanted to increase my grammar skills, right? In this case, I would prefer to read a book in Spanish versus using those different worksheets where you have to fill in the missing phrase or word in a particular sentence so you can understand what the grammar structure is that way. I don't like doing that. That is what I had to do a lot in high school and in college, and I wasn't and I'm still not a big fan of this type of method. If you're watching different YouTube videos to learn Spanish grammar, then you also want to think about the style of teaching that these YouTubers have. You could have a channel like Butterfly Spanish where Anna is teaching you everything on a whiteboard, or in other channels that YouTuber is just explaining to you what that grammar concept is but without a whiteboard. So maybe you don't even like those two styles of teaching. So what's best for you, maybe just reading the particular Spanish grammar concept in a textbook. I made a dedicated video on the 4 types of language learners and you can check that out in the card. I will also put the links of other videos that I have made sharing some of the best Spanish learning resources in the description box of this video. Now you should be a lot less confused and overwhelmed when it comes to picking the best Spanish learning resource for you. If you have any more questions about choosing the best Spanish resource for you, then make sure that you let me know in the comment section below. Esto es Spanish Blueprints, me llamo Josué y nos vemos en el próximo video.